Hey everybody, I'm over here doing some more domain and range and is it a function? So if we're looking at something like this, we're looking at whether or not first off, whether or not it's a function or not. Does an x repeat itself anywhere on here? So if I'm looking at x values are not repeated. This is going consistently from this way to this way. So there's not a vertical spot at all. This is, even though it looks like there's some parts that might look like they're kind of vertical, they're not. So this is a function because it passes the vertical line test and it doesn't have the x repeating values. Now the domain is the x coordinates and the range is your y coordinates. So we need to look at what's happening with both of those. So when we're looking at the x-axis, we're talking about the left to right. So if I'm looking at this arrow points down in both directions. It goes up this way. There's two arrows, one down, one up. So when I'm looking at something like this, it's telling me that this is never going to stop. It's going to keep widening as we get over this way, so it's going to keep getting farther and farther over to the left, which is considered negative infinity. It is not a stopping point. So if we're talking about the left side on the x-axis, we're talking about the negative infinity side. So because it's infinity, it does have like a curved or parentheses kind of bracket. And then when we look at the other side of the x-axis, the positive side, we see that it's got the arrow as well. So that means it's going to continue widening this way, which means it's never going to stop going over on the x-axis in the positive direction. So that would be positive infinity. So we would write like this, again, curved parentheses, indicating that it does not ever stop. And then when we look at the range, the same thing's going to happen. This is going down forever and ever and ever. So it's never going to stop. So because you're going down to the negatives, you were talking about negative infinity there. Also a parentheses or curved bracket. And then because it's going up in the y-axis forever and ever and ever, it's going to be in the positive infinity. And you'd have that. Also curved bracket. If you'd like more questions like this, you can find them on my YouTube channel. You want algebra, check them out under the functions or not playlist.